Hi, Leo Sun and Rising. Welcome to your August 2023 Astro Update. It's Raina here. I was compiling the list, and there's really a lot less of these important transits than there normally is. One of the big things that's happening in August, besides the fact that you're in the spotlight, the sun is in Leo for the first few weeks, is that we're going to have a blue moon on the 30th. So we're going to have two full moons in August, on the 1st of the month, and then depending on where you live, either the 30th or the 31st. So that's noteworthy, but yeah, it's pretty quiet besides that. So let's see what is in store for you, or I always like to say what might be in store because depending on your chart, it might be a little bit different where these are going to land. And this is more of a general reading, but even if it's exactly where I say it is, it might manifest in a different way, or you might not be able to see where it's going to manifest. And I really do believe that we have a lot of personal power. So that's why I'm always kind of like hedging my bets, if you will. We start the month with that full moon, and it's at 9 degrees of Aquarius. Sometimes I also look at the number of the degree and try to draw any kind of significance with that. The number 9 in numerology speaks of endings. So with this full moon, which can sometimes also be endings, this is your opposite sign, Leo. So this is the opposite house for you, the 7th house. And this can be speaking of relationships that have run their course. Now, just because this full moon is at 9 degrees of Aquarius, it doesn't mean that everybody who's in a serious relationship is going to end their relationship. Some of you may be finally taking that plunge and committing, because the full moon simply means that something has grown to the point where it can no longer stay as it is. So like if it's on the negative side, then it's possible that a relationship will end. If it's that you feel very like you trust someone and you feel like you want to spend the rest of your life with them and you're dating them, then maybe you get married. Or if you're living with them, you decide, hey, I want to get married. I don't want to just live with you. And so there might be an end of a court case. The 7th house can be courtroom action. And then on the 16th, we have a new moon. This is what got me a little bit confused, because I was like, wait, usually there's a lot more transits than that from the full moon to the new moon. But the truth is that there are minor transits, and I don't deal with those. You may have heard astrologers, especially if they're doing weekly forecasts, and they'll say the moon is in your sign or whatever, but it's so fast moving that I don't acknowledge those things. But the moon is in your sign, because the new moon is when the sun and the moon are in conjunction. So very concentrated Leo energy. And this is interesting because it's at 23 degrees over Leo. It's the lion's number, which is interesting because this is following the Lionsgate portal. This on the 16th, this is after Lionsgate, which on the 8th is when it's at its highest point. And I looked it up because I was making sure that I was correct about that. And it's very interesting because they call it the Royal Star of the Lion or something, but it's supposed to be a very auspicious number. And of course, we're in 2023. So there's two transits that are at 23 degrees. I'll talk about the second one in a minute. But anyway, new moon in your sign. And What are you going to bring forth in the next solar cycle of 12 months? And even if your rising sign is Leo, this will be your first house. Now, to be, technical about this, it would have to be if your rising sign is like 23 degrees or beyond. Otherwise, it's going to be in your 12th house, this new moon, and you're going to have to wait until September to have, the Virgo new moon will be the new moon for your first house. But chances are, if you're listening for your rising sign, you already know that Leo is your rising sign. So anyway, just new beginnings in general. And this is, of course, the time when you can plant your seeds of intention. Of course, you can do this at any new moon or at any time that you choose to. It's just that it's a nice, if you want to call it a ritual, to do when you're experiencing this, either having the new moon in your first house or having your sun in Leo, that you do this because it sends a signal that you have dreams that you want to fulfill. So if nothing else, even if you don't want to look at it from a magical perspective, it just on the practical level, it can really symbolize or show that you have things that you want to accomplish. On the 23rd, oh, you know what? I didn't even think, okay, that's the 23rd. 23 again. The sun goes into Virgo and Mercury goes retrograde. And I just looked and it's at 21 degrees of Virgo. And actually, when I was, kind of just looking everything over, I realized that there was a lot of earthy energy in August, even though, of course, the sun doesn't go into Virgo until the third week. But on the 28th, Uranus goes retrograde at 23 degrees of Taurus. So it's an exact square from that new moon, which happened 12 days earlier. And so that for you would be like Uranus is in your 10th house. So now that Uranus is retrograding, you may experience, Leo, even more kind of like your career situation can be even more unpredictable. And because you're a fixed sign, that's not necessarily something that is easy for you to take. And maybe some of you have already experienced this in one way, shape, or form. But if not, this might be something that, because especially since the new moon was in that at that same degree, it's possible that this is ushering in a new period for you. But the friction created by that square is not necessarily bad, because it's really a good thing to be flexible. And we can't control everything, even though we might call ourselves conscious co-creators with the universe or what have you. It still is only to a certain degree, and we have to accept that things are happening beyond our control as well. And the more that you can practice detachment while still having your dreams that you have a burning desire to fulfill, it's like the perfect balance, because you allow for what needs to happen. And that's like, when people say, not my will, but thy will. And then you also move in the direction of your dreams. But so often people become very willful and they're like, no, I want this to happen. And they ignore the signs, they ignore everything that's happening, and they just try to force things. or they just kind of give up and they just think that they're victims. So work with that energy, see what transpires. You never know. Like, even though Uranus can be a loose cannon, it could be something like unpredictable that's very surprising in a good way, that just completely floors you. So be open to miracles, to unexpected events. And with that Mercury retrograde, by the way, this is affecting your second house of earned income. So expect, well, I don't want to say expect the check to get lost in the mail, but just realize that there may be something that kind of has a delay that is connected to finances. This is a very speedy thing. Mercury has been breezing through the signs. When it goes retrograde, it does slow down though. So I'm trying to think of when it goes direct. I think it's around the new moon in Virgo. So like right around mid September, I believe. But so it's just a few weeks. And the sun goes into that second house as well. You're ruled by the sun, so the sun has a special connection to you on the 30th. And for those people who are outside of the United States, it will be on the 31st. You're having a full moon at 7 degrees of Pisces. So Pisces for Leo is the 8th house. This is very intense. Remember I said at the beginning that there could be some kind of a resolution of some kind of legal matter. Well, the full moon in the 8th house, this could be other people's money. So that could be also indicating this. If you're getting divorced and you're trying to sort everything out with the finances, or if it's an inheritance, it might be an inheritance. That is also something that may get resolved, or it could be that you find out about this inheritance. You didn't know about it. Secrets come out. The 8th house can be secrets. Well, the full moon can be secrets, but coupled with the 8th house, it could really be something like that. So it could be something that you were not expecting for it to happen. So in any case, this is a great time for purging things that are no longer serving you, Leo. Also, Pisces, is a water sign. This is a water house. This is Scorpio's domain. So it really speaks to addictions and obsessions and letting go of those things, and so that you can have that freedom. That's really the ultimate reason for everything that we do when we're letting go of something, is that we're free from it because maybe it has controlled us. All right, that's what I have for you, Leo. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my double readings, which are called my deep dive readings, my double astrology, an hour of natal chart analysis. So that's looking at your actual birth chart and analyzing it, and then an hour of transits for the upcoming 12 months, which is particularly on your radar because of your solar return. This is a time when we tend to think about, hey, what are the themes for the coming year? That's what I like to call them. Based on the eclipses and all the other stuff that's happening. So I have that type. I also have another package. These are like specially priced readings because they're double readings. I sell these readings separately as well, but there's more of a discount. And I have one with the tarot called the Whole Enchilada, and I have those standalone readings. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at RainaMoonAstrology.com. Thank you for listening. Happy birthday. Bye.